In this chapter, in this lesson, we are going to see about our environment, and the surroundings which we live is called as our environment, and it is divided into two things, two main factors. One is biotic and another one is abiotic. Biotic includes all the living organisms, and abiotic includes all the non-living things in the surroundings. The ecosystem. Ecosystem is a committee of living and non-living things that work together. Each part of an ecosystem has a role to play. Any change in the environment, such as increased temperature or heavy rains, can have a big impact on an ecosystem. Ecosystem can be either natural or artificial. Types of ecosystem. We are having two types of ecosystem: natural ecosystem and artificial ecosystem. Natural ecosystem. Natural ecosystem is of two types: terrestrial ecosystem and aquatic ecosystem. An artificial ecosystem is of two types. One is terrestrial ecosystem, example garden, and aquatic ecosystem, example aquarium. Components of an ecosystem. It is divided into two types: biotic components and abiotic components. Biotic components include all the living components, example plants, animal, and human being. Abiotic components. Abiotic components include all the non-living components. Abiotic components is having two components: physical factor and adaptive factor. Physical factors include light, temperature, wind, and humidity. Adaptive factors include water in soil, air in soil, organic matter in soil. Natural ecosystem. Ecosystem originated without human invention is called a natural ecosystem. This can be an aquatic ecosystem or a terrestrial ecosystem. The ecosystem in water is called aquatic ecosystem. Sea, river, lake, pond, and puddle are some examples of natural aquatic ecosystem. Ecosystem outside the water body and on land are called terrestrial ecosystem. Forest, mountain regions, deserts, etc. are example of natural terrestrial ecosystem. Artificial ecosystem. Artificial ecosystems are created and maintained by human. They have some of the characteristics of natural ecosystem. They are much simpler than the natural ecosystem. These can be the terrestrial ecosystem, such as paddy field, garden, etc., or the aquatic ecosystem, such as fish tank. Aquarium. Aquarium is a place in which fish and other water creatures and plants are maintained. An aquarium can be a small tank or a large building with one or more large tanks. Terrarium. Terrarium is a place in which live terrestrial animals and plants are kept. Plants and animals are kept in a terrarium with controlled conditions that occupy the natural environment. Aquarium and terrarium are used to observe animals and plants more closely. They are also used for decorations, food chain and food web. Living organisms need food to perform their life process. Some organisms can produce their own food, such as plants, while other organisms cannot do this and need to feed on other organisms to obtain their energy. We can therefore identify different feeding types in an ecosystem based on how the organism obtains its food. They are producer and consumer. Producer is the one who produces its own food, example, plant, and consumer is the one who consumes the food which is prepared by others. Producers. Producers are organisms that are able to produce their own organic food. They do not need to eat other organisms to do this. Producers are also called autotrophs. Plants are the producers because they make their own food by photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a process in which plants prepare their food with the help of sunlight, water, carbon dioxide and chlorophyll.